Well, thank you for staying with us. Could bus drivers down tools in the coming days? The South African Transport and Allied Workers Union has declared a dispute following a collapse in wage talks at the South Africa Road Passenger Bargaining Council. Well, the union has refused to accept a revised offer of a 6% wage increase for the 2023-2024 financial year. Satawu is demanding a 9% increase. So let's unpack this now with Satawu spokesperson Amanda Tshemese, who joins me now live to take this conversation forward. Amanda, thank you for your time. Good afternoon to you. Where did the negotiations actually deadlock?
Thank you so much, Tumelo, and a very good afternoon to you and to your viewers at home. Tumelo, just to remind the viewers at home, we started negotiating with the employer in January, where we had initially had a demand of 15%. However, the employer could not meet our demand. We then moved from 15% to 9%, and we've had about 3 sessions until now. But unfortunately, the employer has not been able to meet our demands, because on our side, we tried to find a common ground with the employer, because we moved from 15 to 9%. That is where we are at this current moment. And unfortunately, we deadlocked 2 weeks back, and a certificate of non-resolution was issued by the employer. And that is where we are right now. And also, I think it is very important to state that a 30-day period to call has expired yesterday, meaning that on the 1st of April, which is this coming Saturday, we are going to give the employer a 48-hour notice that we are going to be embarking on strike. The strike is legal, the strike is protected, as the certificate was issued by the employer. And we do want to say to our members and workers out there that they must not be intimidated or threatened by the employer. The strike is legal, and it's going to go ahead until the employer gives us something that is more reasonable, something that is more meaningful.
And clearly the 6% offer they are offering you is not good enough for you. You are quite resolute that the 9% is where you stand. What are the reasons they're giving you, Amanda, in terms of why they can't match your demands?
But Tumelo, I also want to state that from where we are as a union, anything below the consumer price index, the CPI, is not an increment at all. The cost of living is too high in this country. But also one of the reasons that they gave us when we were negotiating is that they are not making enough money, which is not true, because that's what they said last year when we were negotiating. They told us that they don't have enough money due to COVID-19. They are still telling us the same story, but that is not true. The services are operating normally. They are making a lot of money. Our members are working on a daily basis. We are seeing the buses almost, in fact, we are seeing buses every day in this country, throughout the provinces and in our biggest cities. So it is not true that the employer does not have money to meet our demands. They are just being greedy, selfish, and arrogant as usual. And unfortunately, in this case, we are not going to let that happen, because we have been very patient, and we have been very understanding to the employer, but it has to come now. Unfortunately, it has come to an end.
Amanda, what is this condition that I understand has been given to you, that Satawu withdraw calls for a contribution for primary health care from the employer, or at least one of the employers you're negotiating with, and saying that that offer will stand on that condition?
Well, what had happened is we had said to the employer, in fact, one of our demands was that the employer must contribute 75% and the employee contributes 25% towards the primary care, what is known as medical aid. However, the employer said they cannot meet those demands. And we are saying, if you cannot meet these demands, and then unfortunately, from our side, there is nothing that we can continue negotiating, because this is one of the major issues. We all understand that our members and workers, they are already getting paid peanuts in these companies. How do you expect them to pay 100% to a medical aid? So basically, there's literally nothing on the medical aid, and that is why we are saying until we give us something on the medical aid, maybe there is a room for us to talk. Until then, there's nothing to talk about. On Tuesday, we are going on strike.
And just I suppose my last question to you before I let you go, obviously the strike will affect bus commuters, this despite the employers involved in these negotiations. What would your appeal be to those who would be affected because they depend on daily commuting through these buses?
Tumelo, I do want to say that it is not our priority to go on strike, because as a union, we know what is at stake. We know, we actually understand that it is not only our members and workers that are going to be negatively affected by the strike, by the commuters. Also, our economy, it is already struggling. So we do know what is at stake. You have those people that have already booked buses to and from different provinces within the country. So we would like to say to the employer, we are still more than willing to sit down and negotiate with them, because this is not only about us as a union and our members, but our economy and the commuters, the poor and the working class. They rely on these services on a daily basis. Now they are going to inconvenience millions of South Africans because they are greedy.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to me. Satawu spokesperson Amanda Tshemese, thank you so much for your time.